Clap sync. Three, two, one. Hey everyone, welcome back to Waste Management episode 4. Thanks for taking out the trash with us. I am sick and miserable and terrible. How's your Thursday?
I know that wasn't directed at me, but it's a rhetorical question for our audience out there. However, I happen to be sick like literally right before you, and I
Yep.
don't I don't know how because you got sick like literally right as I got better, and we are like hundreds of miles away from each other at the moment.
Yeah. I think this is the 5G, right? Like
Right, right.
I don't know. It's just like it's just the way the world
It just
works, I
happens at the
guess.
beginning of the year, like the
Yeah.
school year. Everyone comes back. There's like one kid who was sick, gets everyone else sick.
It doesn't help that the other day I had to walk back home from campus in the pouring rain and I didn't have like an umbrella. So
I
I
mean, that
mean,
definitely
it could have
doesn't
been
aid
that.
in the
I'm not saying
process,
it was
maybe.
that because I don't have the scientific data to back it up,
Right.
but it definitely could have been that.
I mean, maybe, man, maybe.
We'll never know. Do we have anything to talk about?
The
My
only
life has been
thing,
so I've been so busy recently.
dude, I do the same thing every day. I wake up, I go to my architecture building, and then I work while I have class, and then I take a break. And by take a break, I mean don't have class, but still continue to do work at the architecture building. And then I have class again in the architecture building. And then I go home and I do work for architecture, and then I go to sleep.
Yeah. That's
So for any
about
of you considering majoring in architecture or being an architect,
don't.
my advice would be do it if you like it, but uh don't like kill yourself over it.
Yes. I think that's good advice just generally, not even for
I mean, yeah, but it's just very, very time consuming.
yeah. I've been just busy. Honestly, I'm getting too much homework for work that means too
Nothing.
little
Yep.
to anything that I'm actually doing.
I have a history exam tomorrow for my architecture history course. There are keep in mind we've been in class for like about a month now. There are 100 vocab terms.
Hmm.
Um, which could show up as like multiple choice questions. So you don't need to like not all of them will be on the test, but like if you don't know them all, and one of the ones you don't know is on the test, then it's like, well,
Yeah.
sucks. And then the other questions are about like identifying specific buildings in history, and we have to name what building it is, where it's from, what era it's from, who built it, like the approximate year that it existed, and I think that might be it. But we have to do that for guess how many buildings?
Like 50.
74.
Okay, I was pretty close. This I'm getting Vietnam like flashbacks to my foreign languages class in high school. I took Latin and Greek in high school. Terrible decision,
Yeah.
but it looks good on a college resume, so I was like, okay. Um, I remember my honors Latin 3 class, which God, I do not wish that class upon anyone ever.
No.
But honors Latin 3, my teacher had a doctorate or whatever, so he's like an insane human being to begin with. And he's like, teaching the class, like he'd put a reading up on the board. And to be fair, the readings were actually like kind of interesting because he'd be
Yeah.
like, there was this war like 2,000 years ago where fucking Cicero was marching an army through like whatever part of Italy. And then they one random guy like wrote a thing on the side of a building, and that's what we're reading today in class. So it's like kind of a cool piece of history,
Yeah.
but it's also real fucking Latin.
Mm.
And it's just not, he reads it from the board like we all can like immediately
Understand it.
interpret
Right.
exactly what's
Right.
going on. And
And
it's just very much not the case.
I mean, Latin is like the most spoken language. I mean, pretty much nowhere at all actually.
Even at the time, it was like not that it's
Nope.
not the most prominent language.
Nope.
So I mean, that was
It's
fun,
it's
but
helpful, I think.
we had quizzes every day in that class. The only days we did not have quizzes were, days there were exams. We had quizzes every day for vocabulary, just vocabulary. The quizzes were very simple. 4 words, give the part of speech, what it means, and then depending on the part of speech, there would be like 1 or 2 other things you'd had to say about the word. Seems pretty simple. The
Sure.
vocabulary list for how many words there were, it was like on the low end, it was 100 words. And there were going to be 4 on the quiz that he just picked at random.
Cool.
On the higher end, there was one quiz that had 300 vocab words, no lie. So it was just like help me out a little bit here. It's just it's so many words.
That is a lot of words.
And then I mean Greek was a little bit better. They were I think I had made it into the honors Latin program, so then after that it was just like my teacher was just like you should just take Greek cuz it's easy and it's free credit. And I was like, "Okay." And it
It's
basically
like
was
deal.
that.
Yeah.
And now I know, what do I like take away from those experiences, from the many, many hours I spent in a language that I still do not understand? What do I take away from all of that?
Probably not much.
I know the Greek alphabet about as fast as the English alphabet. That's about it, though.
Is there a song to go along with it?
No, there's no song. I just know it.
Oh, well, that's
It's
kind of
like,
cool.
I mean,
I would say that
the alphabet song is like barely even a song because it is just saying the alphabet, but at
it
like a
is.
certain tempo.
It's more like a musical sentence,
Yeah.
you know?
It's like it's literally just like pretending to sing a sentence.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't,
Sorry,
I
this
don't
the
know.
spot where my headphones rest on my head was itchy. Yeah,
That's
I would say
awesome.
that I know, really cool, right? That was a really cool anecdote that I just shared. But yeah, I would say that knowing like basic Latin like prefixes and suffixes and stuff has helped me in the class because if I don't know what a word means, I'm like, oh, well, like I know that like prefix means this, so like this word probably means that. And like half the time it's usually correct.
Yeah, that is the one thing that like unironically I actually did take away is that Latin is kind of the root of all uh the love languages. So
Yeah.
it's like, for the most part I can kind of deduce what's like going on in a sentence in another language, in like French, for example.
Yeah, even if you don't know it exactly, you can probably
Although
get
French is a little, it's like quite detached, but even still, I mean,
in English. I mean,
well, yeah. That technically, yes. I've actually like seen English words that I've like never seen before, and been like, I think I know what that means, just based
and you're
off
right.
of where the root comes from. And maybe I'm not right, but I'm like close, which is what matters because English is a stupid fucking language to begin with,
It is. I think the stupidest thing, people always say that learning English is really hard,
and it
but
is.
I feel like learning English is hard because our spelling is just the worst.
Our spelling is terrible, but it's also that like the grammar rules are just inconsistent. There's
Yeah.
so many nuances that it's like why does this one word like not follow the rest of the rules that the entire language does?
Well, see, like I think that learning English, like verb tenses and stuff, that is my least favorite part of learning any other language.
Yeah.
Like in Spanish, it's like he said, he said, she said, and they said, I think are all the same. But then you said is different, I said is different. And then there's like a they formal said, which is different. And then there's we said, which is also a different like conjugation. But like in English, it's just he said, we said, she said, they said, we said,
Yeah.
we all said, everyone said. Like it's just said
It's
or
weird because
say.
it goes from less specific to more specific if you're going from English to another language. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and then going the other way is obviously weird because you're like, this doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm missing like critical piece of the information or of
Yeah.
the, yeah.
But
So
that's
I
fine.
don't
I
know.
think, yeah, that part of English is easier than other languages, but our spelling and our grammar rules are kind of.
There was one point where I think everyone's done this to some extent where they're like, I want to learn a new language on my own. So they download like Duolingo
Duolingo.
or they buy a Rosetta Stone subscription. And this was like a couple of years ago where I was like, I want to learn Russian. And then
Yeah.
that fell through like almost immediately. I don't think I remember a single thing. I stuck with it for like a solid 2 weeks, but
I mean, that's better than nothing.
it is. But at the same time, like here I am, 2 or 3
Not
years
speaking
later,
Russian.
not doing nothing with that time.
2 weeks. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's 2 weeks. Got plenty of life to live, right?
exactly.
Yeah, I was talking about speaking of plenty of life to live, my one coworker, he just like started talking about philosophy while we were at work the other day. And I was like, yo, you like philosophy? And I don't remember like how we brought it up, but he was like, yeah, like we have like he posted here, I guess I'll ask you the same question.
Okay.
Um, but he was like, if like let's say tomorrow morning I woke up and like I was in your body and you were in my body.
So this is Your Name, the anime.
Okay. I
Have you
haven't
not
watched
seen
it.
that movie?
No.
Holy shit, that movie's amazing. All right, continue.
But hypothetically, so my being or whatever you want to call it, I won't use a word yet because that's part of the debate.
Okay.
But like, well, let's just say we swap minds. How about that?
Okay.
Like your mind's in my head, and when you open your eyes, you're like, oh my God, I look like Henry and whatever.
Yeah.
And I open my eyes, I'm like, oh my God, I look like Jackson. Am I Jackson? And are you Henry? Or are we still, you know, like who's who?
I think
Like, are you me now because you're in my body, or are you still you?
no, I think if you are able to come to the realization that uh you are you and you are in a different person's body, then you're still you and not them.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I
that's
said.
pretty cut and dry. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
I'd
apparent,
be interested to hear the argument from the other side.
yeah, I don't know. Well, it's just like a very like literal, like if you don't believe in like souls or like that we have like a legitimate consciousness or something, you're like, oh, well, like, you're physically now in someone else's body, which makes you them. But
Yeah.
I
Okay,
feel like
sure.
that's like the basis of the argument, but I feel like it's not
Yeah, that's more like an objective, or I don't know about objective, but it's a more like
like a materialistic
matter of fact
take.
stance.
Yeah.
Like you are like literally someone else, so therefore you are literally someone. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that lacks the part where like the recognition is what would do it for me, right?
Yeah. It's like you
If you're
recognize
able
that
to,
you're not in the body that you were before, which means that you're someone else.
yeah,
That's what it is for me. I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting question because I was like, I mean, yeah,
it
I'm
is
me still.
an interesting question. I wish that was the stuff we talked about in my philosophy class.
What did you talk about in your philosophy class?
Very much not this. It's like what is truth versus value, and like how do we define that, and like what's important in like the public discourse, and like I don't know. It's like
Excuse me.
not that interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Like
I love philosophy. I could talk about philosophy for like hours.
truth is cool or whatever, but like I want to talk about some the weird stuff.
Yeah. Do you think that everything has an objective truth?
Shit.
Like, you know
I
what I
mean,
mean? Like
part of me is like, what does that mean? Define like truth, right?
okay. Or I guess maybe I'm gonna phrase it as like a solution. How about that? Like, I feel like no matter how, like, let's say you have an issue
Okay.
and like everyone has like a different way that they want to solve that issue.
Abortion.
Sure.
No, let's not get into that. Pick a
No,
different
it's
issue.
not, that's not a political issue. You should be able to do whatever you want with your body. That's not a political
But
thing.
it is a political issue.
But that's stupid.
I agree. I'm just,
I know you do. But it's like, I'm not even a woman, and that gets me like that gets me. Or not because not all people with uteruses are women. But I don't have a uterus. I cannot have a child. But
Wait, you support children?
yep.
Hey, good for you.
Anyway, so not
World leaders.
woo. Like, but it's just it's like why can you not? The government should not be able to
yeah, it
tell
gets
you
it
what
all.
to do.
Oh,
It gets you
actually,
all fired up.
sorry to interject, but there's actually a really good comparison there. Like, do you know like what the law is?
The wall.
The
The
law.
wall.
Oh,
Like,
the law.
are you allowed to like go steal from a
No.
store?
I mean,
Well,
not
you're not a
legally.
police officer, right? So how would you know what the law is? Exactly. So just like innocently killing a infant is just not.
But like they're not an infant, That's like
What?
stepping on
Hold
a
on.
seed and being like, "Oh my God, I just killed a tree."
I guess you have to like draw the line at like some point where you are and aren't allowed.
I think there's a difference. Like I think if your fetus has like a heartbeat and you're like
Because that happens.
super far
that
into the
happens
pregnancy or
before,
whatever.
right? The heartbeat. I'm not too familiar, but like you'd be surprised that if you do say once it has a heartbeat, then that means after that point you're not allowed to kill it. So then that's the government putting a rule on that,
I mean,
which is something you're against.
yeah.
But like you just classified that as you're killing somebody if they have a heartbeat. So like there are places you have to draw lines.
No, I mean, yeah, there's definitely like, as I said, there's an objective truth. Like
Mhm.
there is a point, like factually, somewhere. I didn't want to do this with abortion, but whatever. Like there's a point, technically speaking, in truth. It's like Bill Burr has this whole like comedy special about it. He goes like, guys, I don't know how to talk about abortion because I think that women should be able to do what they want, or not women. Anyone should be able to do what they want with their bodies. But he's like, but I still think you're killing a baby. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, man. But like, I mean, I guess at some point, sure. But it's like that's like taking like all the ingredients to like a cake. Like, you set out like flour and milk and eggs and whatever. Yeah, exactly. And then you like spill it on the ground.
And
It's
then
not like, oh my God, my cake. It's like, no, that wasn't a cake.
Yeah, no, this is just you're just
You
repeating
could have
Bill
cake.
Burr's joke. You're just stealing the joke.
I'm just stealing the joke. Well, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. He just like, yeah.
Well, it is a joke if it's a comedy special.
Yeah, but he's just like talking, Like, I mean, he does
He
turn it
is
into a
just
joke.
talking though. Yeah,
He
that's
is. I mean, like
true.
he's funny, but but yeah,
No,
like
he's a funny
exactly.
guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think you should, you can do what you want.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah. At some point, you do have to draw a line, though. It's just like
No, yeah. I mean, you can't just like. I feel like
here's the way I think about it. It's like, if you like got pregnant like 2 weeks ago, and you just found out you were pregnant, like abortion's
it's like-
fine. But
yeah.
obviously, I think we can all agree if you're like 2 days away from having the baby,
you're like,
I don't know. I
Mm.
feel like that's a little like
I feel like that's maybe like a little like
you're right there. You waited 9 months. Like
Yeah, and then you change your mind. It's like,
yeah, that's a little strange to
Yeah.
me.
I do think, yeah, that's fair. I think I can wholeheartedly agree that you definitely have to draw a line somewhere. I don't think that you should like kill babies, but like I also don't think that for the purpose of like how abortion is like currently implemented right now, it's like, oh well, you shouldn't like get an abortion at all. But like, I think it should definitely be an option for anyone who's practicing like or not practicing what who's like trying to look out for their sexual health and like I mean if they just let's say you just financially can't support a child
Yeah.
and like that you're pregnant you should I mean I guess you could do adoption but like that's a really bad system.
Yeah, and it's
Sometimes.
like
Like, or like
adoption.
foster care.
Yeah. And that's a whole like separate issue complete. I mean, there's too many like,
There's too
individual
many things.
paths
Everything
that
leads
can
into
go
another
down.
thing.
It's yeah.
It's
And it
not
all
an
becomes like
orphanage, so it's
interconnected to
immediately
like every other issue.
It's a little better,
Because
yeah.
you're like, I'd say like what, 80% less likely to get beat.
Who in a not third world orphanage?
Mhm.
Probably, yeah.
Well, you're still gonna get beat, but I'm sorry to tell you, but
I mean,
third world, it's like daily.
I mean, you did you?
Huh?
Did you?
A few
Like
times.
every day?
Not every day, because I only have a few memories, but a few times, like this one time, this guy like actually like choked me out.
What?
Mm-hmm. Because
Wow.
I was up past my bedtime, so I was technically breaking the rules, but he like just like grabbed me, and this is like a big guy. He was like,
I'm sure.
and he like
He was
dude,
so
so,
big.
That's scary. I'm sorry.
no, it doesn't bother me anymore.
Well, I mean,
Well, I mean, I don't think it bothers me.
yeah, probably not.
That's crazy.
Anyway, what I'm getting at is that
Objective truth.
I think you should be able to legally kill babies.
Yes. No, I agree.
Specifically, like with a sword.
Like
I think they
King
don't
Solomon.
punish children until they have a positive KD ratio in Modern Warfare 2. So before then,
Yeah, that is
they're not
fine.
there yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
agree?
also, King Solomon, we should just follow his precedent.
What did he do?
This is a story in the Bible. Is it the Bible? I think it's the Bible, where one woman like has a child, and there's another woman who's trying to say that the child is hers, but she's like, no, that's my child. No, that's my child. They can't agree or whatever. So they go to the king, and King Solomon is like, I'll chop the baby in half, and then you can both have half. This is a real story. I'm not
That is
making this up.
That sounds like a Bible story right there.
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
So I
It's
mean,
like that one. It's like that one fucking story. I don't remember the name of the guy in the story, but he's just like a really devout worshiper of God, and God's like, I don't know if I trust this guy. I don't know if he's really I don't know if he's really for my cause, And so he like tests him, and he
Yeah.
tests him by like killing like all of his sheep and like his wife and daughter, and then the guy's like, "Oh, this sucks. Like, I can't. Like, who did this to me?" And then God like comes down. He's like, "You passed the test." And then he's like, "Oh, cool." And then like God gives him like a new family and new sheep, and he's just like cool with it.
I'm fairly certain this is the book of Job in
Yeah,
the Bible.
there it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
There it is. I was like, I remember hearing about that. I was like, oh, all right, yeah.
That is a fucked up story.
That's
Someone
cool.
wrote that, and then they were like,
No, Jackson,
bro.
what do you mean someone wrote that? That happened.
No, someone wrote it.
No, it happened.
No, it did not happen. It's not that everything in the Bible happened. It's that people wrote stories to teach lessons,
Right.
and it's God inspired.
Like
every
parables.
person
Like
who
mustard
wrote
seed.
a book of the Bible was divine inspired by God. And that's why it's in the Bible, because it's a book
Right.
that's divinely it's God inspired.
Right.
God has his seal of approval on that shit.
I thought you didn't like that guy though.
I don't.
I don't.
I spent too much time in Catholic school to
Nah, that's fair.
like
To be
some of this
cool.
shit is just ingrained into me.
No,
at this
that's fair.
point.
Hey, but now I know, so that's good.
Going back to the Greek for 2 seconds, I had to read I had to translate the entire book of John from Greek to English
Why?
because that was part of the course.
Right, yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
no,
No, that makes sense, yeah.
it does.
What?
That shit was ass, let me tell you. I
That
much
sounds
preferred
ass.
the story of Hercules. That was a bit more fun to translate.
Yeah, Hercules is that's good.
I mean, it's
Better than
especially fun when you get to the part where it's like the three-headed dog comes out and you're
yeah.
like, yeah, this is cool.
Or Cerebus.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's cool.
shout out.
I used to be obsessed with Greek mythology when I was younger. Shout out Rick Briarden,
Did you watch
Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know it. They're making I think they're a new series.
Oh, really?
It'll probably be dog shit, but
Yeah, probably.
everything that Disney has released on Disney Plus in the past, like, I don't know, like 2 years is just kind of like, eh. I liked Loki.
I mean, I feel like that's most like Disney stuff now. Like
I
they
liked
have their good studios that like Pixar that always produce like quality stuff. And then, for the most part it's all just like a cash grab at this point.
dude, they made a Baymax series, and I was like, oh my God, they're gonna finally do more in like the Big Hero 6 universe, because that's my favorite movie. It's so good.
Period.
And I was like, oh, cool. And it's actually only like an hour long. It's 6 episodes, and they're all like 10 minutes. And I was like,
Ugh.
rat shit.
Yeah. They gotta
But
milk it, man.
they do, yeah.
I swear it'll be like an Incredibles scenario where it was like, when did the first movie come out? It was like 1999 or some shit.
I think
Or
it was like
no, it was
2000
2000.
something.
It was 2000. You're right.
It was early though.
It was very early. It might have been the year we were born.
I think it was. I think it was
Now that I'm thinking about it, or
it was
somewhere around there.
2004. October
Okay.
24th, 2004.
It's gonna be like an Incredibles scenario where the next big hero, it's gonna be called Big Hero 7. That'll come out in 2036.
6. Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be like a Pikmin 4 scenario, you know?
It'll yeah.
I can't believe it's real. It's gonna be so good.
Last time did we even talk about the fact that we had new footage on the Zelda?
No, we didn't.
Did we even mention that?
I don't think
was
we touched on it at all.
That was honestly the biggest thing. Well, not really. No.
Other than Pikmin.
Sorry. Yes.
I think the biggest thing was probably that only singular farming simulator that Nintendo
Right.
covered.
What
just
was it
the
called
one.
again?
Farm new farm deluxe
Two.
2.
New
New farm
Farm
deluxe 2.
Special edition.
Dude, how do they
For
fit
Nintendo
so many?
Switch.
How do they fit so many farming simulators into that direct?
I don't know. We will be talking about this one for years to come.
Like, I loved the direct, but only because I didn't watch it like live because I was asleep. Because that was when I was sick. So I slept in until like 11, and you texted me and you were like, I bet you're pretty jazzed right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way. And I texted you, and I was like, dude, there's no way, right? And then I went onto Nintendo's YouTube, and it was like Pikmin 4 teaser trailer, and I was like,
That's great.
that was like
Yeah.
that was
So
that was a
I
hype
watched
morning
it
right there.
live, but I didn't know the direct was happening until like 2 minutes before it started. I didn't even know like that was announced. I was in one of the dining halls. I was sitting with a friend, and then in my peripheral vision to my left, there's a guy who on his laptop has half of the screen as the Nintendo Direct, and the other half he's in a Zoom class.
Respect.
And I'm like, holy shit, there's a Nintendo Direct going on. I gotta get in on that.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what? We got a tentative name for Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom, which kind of a sick name.
Kind of a sick. It's a little metal.
I'm pretty
might
down
say.
with it. Yeah.
I can't wait for them to make a third Breath of the Wild, a sequel to this game.
Yeah. I would just like this one to come out first.
Yeah.
Dude, Breath of the Wild's so good. Can we talk about that? Can we just Breath of the Wild's like one of the best games ever, and it's not close.
No, it's not close. Zach, if
It's
you're
not
watching this
close
right
at
now,
all.
because he's not here. He's at his civil engineering career fair. I don't know why I put that in
Oh.
quotation marks. That is where he is. But
Well, it's
like,
not real. It's not important.
it's just a good game. It's not bad. Like
No.
he's like, they didn't do enough with the dungeons and the shrines suck. And the shrines do suck. But like the rest of the game is
Yeah,
really good.
that's the issue. It's like genuinely, I agree with Zach's criticisms, maybe not to the degree that it affects like my overall opinion of the game to any
Oh
extent.
no, I mean the dungeons are
The shrines
like-
are god awful. They are, I think, genuinely some of the worst like puzzles in any Zelda game ever.
Yep.
And that's comparing it to like the fucking Link's Awakening on the Game
okay,
Boy.
so maybe they're not that bad.
Where like
but-
that shit is cryptic as hell. Well,
Yeah.
it's just insulting, right? Like
Yeah.
one of the first shrines you get into, like straight off of the Great Plateau, is like, and it's more egregious when the game first came out because all the loading screens took 5 minutes.
They did take a really, really long
So
time.
it takes, so you find a shrine, you're like, oh cool, a shrine. You just got done doing all the like cool tutorial ones. You load for 5 minutes into this shrine, and the
you watch
shrine,
yourself go down the elevator. You walk out of the elevator.
you do not skip the cutscene.
You do not skip the cutscene.
And then it's a fan blowing wind, and you just glide straight across. You do that twice, and then it's the end of the shrine. And then you wait 5 minutes.
And it's to leave the shrine.
And I want to emphasize the 5 minutes here. You know, you can say 5 minutes. That doesn't really...
it wasn't actually 5 minutes.
It
But
doesn't-
it was like a solid...
No. It was 5 minutes.
It was like 2.
And like you can say 5 minutes, but me saying 5 minutes doesn't actually like recreate how long that actually is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's a long time.
Wow, that was good. That was a really good recreation of 5 minutes.
I know I did 5 seconds, but you know the
That's
point I'm
okay.
trying to get across. But anyway, yeah, the shrines are dog shit. The dungeons
the
are
game is
dog
good.
shit. The game it lacks like a lot of enemy variety. I feel like
I was just gonna say that.
there's like literally 3 enemies, one
like
of
you
which
got
is
the
just a bigger
bokoblin.
version of the smaller one.
Yep. Well, okay, Jackson, you gotta think about the mini bosses. We got the bokoblin,
Right.
the moblin,
Right.
all 4 colors of bokoblin,
Yep.
which are all different enemies, obviously.
Obviously.
I also like that the only things that we've seen so far as new enemies in the game are bokoblin with long horn and bokoblin base on top of the rock monsters,
Yeah.
the Staluses, or the Taluses, not the
The
Stalus.
stone taluses. Yeah, something
Stone
like that.
Talus, not Stalus. That's not a word.
But other than that, the game's great.
Yeah,
It's like 90% of the game just exploring the world
It's
is genuinely the best game I've ever played. And it's not close. It's the only open world that I feel like actually achieves its goal besides like, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, and
to
the
be
horses.
honest. The horses are great.
I
Red
like-
Dead 2,
I-
although I have a lot of opinions on Red Dead 2, but Breath of the Wild, great game. And then the other 10% is like some of the worst gameplay I've ever experienced in a Zelda game, hands down. So it's like, how much does the bad stuff weigh down the good stuff?
Not
right?
at all. Not enough to be bad.
And no, not enough to be bad, which is Zach's opinion, which is literally insane. And I'm sure when we have him on at some point, we'll get
Like
the
actually,
full...
instead of just like sitting right here and
Yeah,
randomly
yeah,
coming
yeah.
in. Yeah.
when we give him a microphone in front of his face. Yeah.
We'll have to make fun of him though.
Oh, no, we will.
When he's like, "Yeah, guys, I don't like it," I'm gonna be like, "Well, you're wrong."
And he is wrong, quite frankly.
Oh, super quick question. Another
Okay.
thing where Zach is wrong. Who is hotter, Harley Quinn or Poison Ivy?
Did he tell you my answer to that?
Yeah, you said the right one, right? Wait,
Yeah,
don't say
I
it
mean,
yet.
obviously,
Yeah.
That's an easy answer.
I feel a lot of pressure now.
It's okay. I
Because
mean, if you
I
if you
didn't-
say,
I didn't know there was a right answer.
oh, I mean, there's not, but like,
Well, okay. You said that there was
there's
a right
the one that I
answer.
think, and the one that JD thinks, and then there's the one that Zach thinks.
And the one that Zach thinks is worse.
Once he answers, I can give you like why there is a correct and wrong.
I mean, there's not. It's just like objective taste. Like, if you say the one that I don't think, I'm not going to be like, "Oh my god, you're
no.
wrong."
now I'm like compartmentalizing in my mind. I'm like, I'm trying to pick the one I think you would pick.
Well, what would you pick?
That's what I'm trying to think. Now I'm like, I don't know what I think.
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what I think, man. It doesn't matter what I think or what JD thinks or what.
But you're gonna make fun of me after.
I'm not gonna make fun of you.
Yeah, you are.
I'm only gonna make fun of Zach.
Okay.
But it was
He's
like
the
really
only one that
funny
deserves it.
because Zach was like, "What do you mean, guys? I'm literally right." And then he was asking like literally all of our friends, and we were like, "No." And then he texted like my high school friend and her cousin, like we're really good friends with them. He texted them and was like, "Guys, I think this person's really hot, but Henry thinks this person's really hot." And they were like, "Oh, well, Henry's right."
Give me Poison Ivy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Lock it in.
Do you actually think that?
That is my honest answer.
That's your honest answer?
That's my honest opinion.
Judges, can we get a
drum roll, please?
Can we get a drum roll, please? That's the right answer.
Phenomenal.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, there's not like it's not a right answer. Why is it? There's no right answer.
There's a right answer.
Plants, correct.
She does control plants, though.
I got it correct.
And she controls. Correct?
She can alter the shape.
So now, instead of going to Home Depot, I'd be like, "Hey, could you configure a tree into 2x4s?" Or I could have a garden grown, and I could sell the fruit, or have that for myself.
I mean,
and then in terms of protein, you could have like peanuts and stuff like that. So you could have a self-sufficient nutritional diet just because of her.
So I was just gonna say that she's definitely just hotter.
So
but that's also a huge benefit.
Speaking,
That's more what I was thinking.
Also, she's a lot more stable of a person.
That is true.
That is true.
Crazy. And
She's not
more financially responsible because she doesn't have to eat, or she can just grow her own food. So like literally on one side, like somebody that's actually crazy versus somebody that can provide literally everything. Or she could alter the configuration of a tree to grow into a house.
That would be cool too. That'd be a cool looking house.
And then you could sell the house for like $350,000 to $400,000, and you can kind of go up there.
Depends on the size of the house, man.
What?
That's why that's the correct answer.
I was just gonna say I think I like her design as a character.
I feel like
better,
JD has misunderstood the question.
I know. I think he's right.
I don't think the question was which person is more fiscally responsible and able to provide.
All right, see, dude.
Yep.
I mean, that kind of that plays into it, I guess.
And she's obviously better.
And she's better looking.
Okay, come on.
I mean,
Base. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, in terms of attractiveness, it still absolutely goes my girlfriend, Jackson, and then like Poison Ivy's like down here.
right.
But Harley Quinn's like. We've just been having. I don't know why. Yesterday was a day of just like our friend Mia was like, Zach, you got to pull up like the top 900 anime waifus and rank them in a tier list. And so Zach was ranking like his waifus, and
who's Zach's best girl?
well, I don't know. We didn't get through all of them, and it wasn't even close.
Oh, okay.
There were 900 on this tier list, and
Well,
there's a
I don't
tier
know.
of
Maybe
like
you had some time on your hands.
there's a tier of like I don't know. Oh, dude, I never have any free time. If I'm ever here, it's for like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and I guess right now. This is like Thursdays
we'll
right now.
We'll have to ask Zach this. Write this down, editor.
I have a meeting at 4:30, but before that, this is like my only free time. Woo!
Anyway, you heard it here first. Come back next week for the next edition of Hot or Not.
But yeah, I feel bad because everyone was like, Zach, that's wrong. Like, it's not wrong. Every person has their own individual
No, he is wrong, though.
taste. He's not wrong.
No, he is
He's not wrong.
Zach is wrong, dude. I'm sorry. I hate
He's not wrong.
He is wrong.
I will defend. I don't even agree with him, but I'll defend him. He's not wrong.
I think
but
you're
you know what?
wrong for defending him.
This gets into objective truth, dude.
Oh my god.
Because objectively speaking, one of them is definitely truthfully more attractive.
Right.
It's like I got into that question because like technically speaking, every problem has I mean it probably has multiple solutions,
This is true.
but every problem absolutely has a most effective solution.
Yes.
Like and that applies to like everything, I feel like.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like you could imagine a scenario where it's like both solutions provide both positive effects. I don't like, but different effects.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that like one is more effective, but it's just preferable to a different person in a different situation.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. I think, to some extent, it depends on like what kind of truth you're looking at. Because if it's like truth about facts, then there's like one most effective truth. It's like 2 + 2 = 4, right?
Or
But
does
even then, you could say like, but math is like a thing we like kind of made up or whatever. And I'm not going to get into that
Yeah.
argument because I think that's fucking stupid. At some point in philosophy, you get to a point where
Yeah,
you're
where you just like
you're so
yeah.
out of what the original problem was. It's like, what's even the
And
point
it's like what are you
of
talking
talking
about
about
right now?
it?
Yeah. I just
So I
think it's
mean,
just interesting. I just think it's interesting to have like those sort of like theoretical debates.
yeah, and I think that's important, like in the public discourse to just in general. I guess I don't know.
And it's like weird because like I think that there probably is an objective truth to like most things, but that doesn't mean that we should try and find it for everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like is like they're either like in the case of like religion, let's say, there either is a god or there's not a god.
or there's
Or
multiple gods.
or there's multiple gods. But there's like, like there's either it's either there or it's not.
Yeah,
Like, I mean and it can be in like multiple ways. Like maybe it's not maybe we don't have like a god, but there's like some I don't know, we were created somehow.
Big Bang
Well, yes, but I mean like
Theory, the show.
the show.
Sheldon.
Sheldon Cooper
Yeah.
created this planet and everything on it.
Imagine.
That would be something else. If
I
I
was
die and something happens when I die and I wake back up and Sheldon Cooper is there and he just goes bazinga. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I was having this conversation with someone not too long ago where I was like, how many people who watch The Big Bang Theory can like accurately describe to you what the Big Bang actually is? Because they say it in the theme song of the
No, that's
show.
it. I mean, I've only ever watched like maybe 1 or 2 episodes of the show. So I don't know how it ends or like how it relates, but like I think it's just the theme song.
And no, the theme song literally just explains what the Big Bang Theory is. And
Yeah.
my question is like, do you think people who watch the show regularly would be able to
I think they could
understand
sing
the phenomenon?
I think they could sing you the theme song.
I don't think they could, is the thing. Because the theme song is literally what the Big Bang Theory is, and I think they don't know it because people who watch fucking
Big Bang Theory?
sitcoms are stupid.
That's not true. Not every sitcom is bad.
Didn't name one.
How I Met Your Mother is really good.
Okay, that's kind of fair actually.
I don't know if you've watched it or not, but it is like
I've seen a couple episodes.
one of the best and funniest TV shows I think I've ever watched.
One of my friends got me to start watching Letterkenny, which
I don't know what that is.
it's good. It's not like the best show I've ever watched or anything like that, but it's funny. And I guess I like it because every character in the show, I'm like, oh, I've met this person before.
Yeah.
Like in real life. Like this person
Yep.
has existed in my life at some point. And I'm just like, that's funny.
That is them. I know them.
Yeah.
See, my favorite show of all time is Captain Levi from Attack. I'm kidding. That's a joke. That was a bit. It's for the bit.
Yeah. No, we're all
Attack on
laughing.
Titan's good though, except for the
That's
end.
true. Do you not like the ending? I actually don't know how. So don't say anything about it
No,
because
I
I'm
just mean
waiting
like
for.
I know I think I've I've like accidentally had some of it spoiled online, but it's like I'm not entirely sure that I understand it. So until they actually like animate it, I'm probably not gonna go and read the manga. Um, but like I just don't like the last season so far.
Yeah, it's too much buildup
Yeah,
for like way too long. It's like
like they
24 episodes of buildup to a thing that like I didn't like. I thought it was supposed to end at this point, like
yeah, well like
during the last season. So it was
yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. Because that was what got me. Like I don't remember exactly how it ends, but I know that there's more than what they were like telling so far. So I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay, there's got to be more episodes. And then it just ended, and I was like, oh. And they were like, Attack on Titan season 4, part 3, and I was like, why? Like, and Attack on Titan, like the season 4 part 1 was like fine. Like it's not great, but like there's some good background and like there's some decent fights and there's some good like there's some good, like the filler episodes are pretty decent and like there's a lot of information that you learn about the world and then it's like it's presented in a good way.
yeah,
Um, so like even though it's not the most intense season or like part of the season, I guess it's still good. But then we got into season 4, part 2, and they were just like building up like every episode, and then like there's
yeah.
one cool thing that happens like towards the end, but then that's like not even the end because you're like, oh, this is going to be the end, and then like that's not where they ended, and then it's
No,
like,
it keeps going.
but then it ends. Like it doesn't keep going, and then there's a climax. There's a cool thing that happens, and then it keeps going, and then it ends, and you're like what did I watched like 11 episodes of build up for like one thing to happen for like
Yeah,
5 seconds, and then it stops, and then the rest of the episode goes on, and then it ends.
and then it's hard to wait a year for the rest of the show to come out, right?
It's coming out like January though, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Or December. It's coming out
Well, the
sometime.
the winter season starts in January, so I think it's winter
I think it's
2023.
yeah. I'll take it.
So I mean, we're getting there.
We are getting there.
And I mean, look, in the grand scheme of things, it's like the rest of the show is like literally flawless.
Yeah.
I mean, I think my favorite season is probably like season 3, part 2, or something like that.
I don't even know if the original ones have parts, but I would agree.
No, it goes 1, 2, 3, part 1,
Part one,
3,
3, part
part
two.
2, 4,
Part
part
one, 4, part
1,
two,
2,
4, part
and then
3.
there will be 4, part 3. Just number them normally, goddammit.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's ridiculous, man. But Attack on Titan, great show. You gotta watch my favorite anime,
Which is?
Evangelion.
Yeah. Is that the one with like all the mech suits?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, dude, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom comes out on my brother's birthday.
Shout out.
I'll be out of school. I'll probably be working.
I think I looked at the calendar already. I think I'm gonna have an exam on the release date.
Mm,
So we can, I mean, you don't need to take the exams anyway, so.
you do. You
Or
definitely
maybe it's
do.
like the last day of school or something like that. It comes out towards the end of the school year.
I hope that I'll be done by then because I don't have any. Oh, I guess I don't know because I won't be in. I'm in the exact same classes. Oh, next semester that I am right now. It's just like a continuation of the class.
Yeah.
But I don't think like my history class right now. We have like 3 exams. Like my first one's tomorrow, and then I have 2 more. But I don't think I have a final exam,
That's nice.
which is nice because these ones are actually going to kill me. Because I do not currently have 74 buildings and their architects and when they were made and what era they're from and what area they're from and like their exact location and what dynasty of what civilization they're from memorized. But
You don't know all the famous architects of the Qin dynasty in 1800 China?
we actually haven't covered the Qin dynasty yet, so that's fine.
Okay.
We've covered the Han though.
Oh, like actually.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've talked about like we're like 15th century. We've done we started with Egypt and then went to Greece and then Rome and then the Byzantines. Or sorry. Egypt, Greece, Rome, Byzantines, and then Islamic architecture.
Yeah.
And then now we're doing Chinese and Japanese. And all of these are on one exam tomorrow.
Let's go.
No,
You'll crush it.
I will get crushed.
No, you're gonna crush the exam.
The only way that I crush this exam is if I sit on my desk while I'm taking it.
Like physically crush. I got it.
Physically crush.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah. Good bit right there.
Good bit.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta start making videos again.
Just start.
Yeah, but I don't have time.
Yeah.
Like-
I wanna
Like when
sorry,
Zelda
go
comes
ahead, go
out,
ahead.
I want to play through Zelda. And when Pikmin comes out, I want to play through Pikmin. But like,
So your 2023 is actually kind of set.
it is kind of sad.
Or the start of it anyway.
Yeah. I don't know what I want to do with my life, but I know that I want to do those two things.
And that's what keeps me going, let me tell you.
See, well, the cool thing about architecture is that I can do a lot of stuff with it, and I have a lot of like graphical design experience. So even if I don't design buildings, I could design something else cool, like cars, or like work at a video game studio, or I mean something else.
Something.
But I could also do architecture, which is cool.
So I mean, life is
It's an ever
There's-
unfolding puzzle.
yeah, there's like an idiom here that
It's somewhere there.
somewhere.
Puzzles don't unfold, so
I'm
I
not
don't know
gonna
why
get it.
that was
I'm
the one
running
I-
on so low brain energy right now
Same.
that is like
My
makes
sleep
it hard
schedule is
to-
like so.
Okay. Earlier today, I was like, this is how out of shape I am. Normally I'm like a pretty quick-witted guy. I'm like
Yeah.
able to, people say something, I'll be able to snap back real quick.
Bam! You
Because
are.
I'm like that. I'm sassy. I'm quick with it.
You
and
come
I
back like a boomerang.
I like knocking people off their feet, right? So there are these
Yep.
people walking around. This is literally like 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
We're sitting in like one of the dining halls, me and a friend, and there are these people that walk by, and like the one guy is like carrying a sign that says make an appropriate joke. And I saw them pass by like through the glass doors. I was like, look at these fucking idiots. He's carrying a make an appropriate joke. What a fucking asshole. Like, I was just kind of making fun of him. And then we made eye contact, but I didn't like think anything about it. And they walked past, and I'm making fun of them. And then they turn around and walk through the doors and come up to us, and they're like, do you have an appropriate joke? You saw the sign. And I was just not able to do anything.
That's tough, man.
And the sign had like a bear on it. My friend Joe, he's like, this is unbearable, or like something like that. I was not able to match any energy at all. I couldn't do it. I'm ashamed. I'm
It's okay. You'll get back to your former
embarrassed.
self. You're just sick, man. It's okay.
But then immediately after, we were like floating with the idea, like, what if we did, like, there's a long walk between like dorm side and academic side. So it was like, me and Joe thought of this idea of campus. So we thought of this idea where like one of us sets up a table where it's like, and this is like during finals week. One of them is like, need a compliment? Just ask. And then the person there like gives you a compliment. And then you keep walking towards academic side. And there's me at a table. And I insult everybody who walks past.
And there's no sign. You just do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe there is a sign. I don't know.
Need an insult? Just ask.
Need an insult? Just
Need an insult? Don't ask.
Or I think it's also funny if if both of us are at the same table and
yeah.
we just like fucking yell at people while they walk by. Like
Dude,
a
there
good
was this
cop,
kid-
bad cop.
the day that you and I recorded the podcast when the Queen died. And there's this
Forgot that
kid.
happened.
There's there's this kid riding around campus on a longboard with like a huge drum. Like it was like this big. And he was riding around campus on a longboard and he was going bum bum bum. The Queen is dead.
That's phenomenal.
Bum bum bum. For like 2 hours.
That's great.
I saw him like twice. I was like, this guy's like my hero.
I'm actually so in support of that.
Of the Queen being dead or of
Both.
yeah, okay. I feel
Okay.
bad that she's dead and like everyone's just like kind of dogging on her. And I'm like supposed to be British or whatever. So I guess I'm sad, but like she was kind of mean and probably racist.
Yeah. So like I'll say there's nothing that annoys me more than people on vehicles like going around other people like on the walking paths. Okay? Because
Yeah.
we have a path where people walk to classes and we have a specific vehicle path for people who have skateboards or like the electric scooters or the big wheels or whatever.
See,
Don't
that's tight.
use
We
the
don't have
main
that.
path during peak walking hours when people are moving between class. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a fucking bike. If you have a fucking bike, don't be in the path. God
Especially
damn
because
it.
you can ride a bike like on grass or
And
like
no one is courteous about it, right? So it's like the people who are on bikes, they have bells. They could ring the bell. They could say, "Hey, passing on your left." They don't do that. They're assholes. So
Yeah.
I swear I have been almost fucking like I'm a block of cheese and they are the cheese grater and they fucking
they
whiz
are the
by
mouse.
me. Like literally a hair away. Like it's
Yep.
take the vehicle path, man.
See, so I have a similar take.
And walk on the right side of the road. God
Yes.
damn it. People who are exiting out of a building on the left set of doors, fuck you. I'm like
I swear, dude.
this
there
annoys
are
me
some,
to no end.
like OSU, I don't know what it is this year. There is way more people walking around on campus than there was last year. Like it's got to be at least double or triple the amount of people. And
Yeah.
to anyone who says, "Oh, well, just because classes aren't online anymore," suck my dick. It's not. There
No,
are so many more people.
I
Than
think
there,
it's just
than there.
because like you have the freshmen coming in. Like it's still the first month of
You're like, we have
classes,
to have
basically.
accepted more freshmen than like we are supposed to because there are
Probably.
so many people.
Yeah.
And you can tell who's a freshman and who's not because they're walking around like.
I think that is the people are trying to like find their schedule and find like the best thing to do. And then look,
But-
once it gets cold, everyone's gone.
That's true, and I love it when
know
it's
what I mean?
cold. So I'll be outside. I'll be chilling in the snow.
Yeah.
Anyway, but these freaking. So we don't have vehicle paths. So when I ride my longboard, unless it's like late at night and there's no cars on the road, I usually ride on the sidewalk. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, I ride on the right and pass on the left like a regular person.
Beautiful. Nothing wrong with that.
And I say passing on your left, so I don't.
Amazing. You're a
fucking
normal
run into
person.
anyone.
Thank you. Like
I agree though, because the amount of times that I almost got hit by like some dumbass on a bike or on their longboard who's just got their headphones in and is not talking to anyone, like this year or last year, I'm like, what are you doing?
bro.
But in addition, I swear to God, with the addition of people to this campus, there are also more NPCs than I think I have ever seen in my life. Like,
Yeah.
my campus is huge, and with all the people, it actually feels like you're just walking around the city in like some random video game. Because like if you bump into someone, they're like, "Oh, sorry." You know, like an NPC interaction. Like this one dude, I was walking around yesterday in the dining hall. He was carrying this cup of Coke, like in front of me, going to fill it up. And I'm walking towards the food line. He just stops, like mid, and then like keeps walking, and then like does he does a 90-degree turn, turns back, keeps walking straight, like the way he was walking before. He could have just kept walking, and then he stops again and turns all the way around, like towards me, passes me, turns like maybe we'll go with maybe like 240, like not a full like 270-degree rotation, or what would it be? Yeah, right, 270.
Yes.
Right. not a full 270, but like in between, and then just walks straight and like brushes up against me. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? There's no way that that was a real person.
I don't know.
Especially because he was going to fill up his drink and just walked away from the drinking fountain. So like, I don't know what he was doing. Like, he
I
was
don't
walking
know.
straight line, stop, walking, turn, walk away. Like,
I will say sometimes I'm like, I'm a fucking asshole. Sometimes I'm indecisive, so I'll be like, I'll get up to like go get food, and I'll stop in front of the door to like where you go to buy food, and I'll just be like, and I
do I
turn
need this?
around.
That's fine. But like if you're already in the middle of walking and then you stop and then you go and you stop again and then you go and you stop,
Yeah, there's an issue if it's like
there's
your
got to be
brain
like
spasms like 3 times.
some sort of bug is going on in your code right there,
Yeah.
and I'm not having it. It's also because like if you go to the dining hall now, like in a 2 hour window, so we'll say like let's say most people eat breakfast around like 9. From like 8 to 10, the line is like absurd.
It's
Like
insane.
unlike anything I've ever seen. Like it was never like this last year. Or like lunch. Lunch is the worst because a lot of college students just don't eat breakfast because you have to get up and then you just go to class.
Yeah.
I usually don't eat breakfast. But lunch, from the hours of like 12 o'clock to like 2 o'clock, walking around the dining hall, you have like 1 square foot of space,
Yeah.
of like personal space. And it's ass. It's so ass.
Your
Actually, you know what?
dining halls are not fun.
I can't wait for you to come visit because
No.
I'll swipe you in and we'll have the time of our life.
I'm sure of it. Yeah.
Let me tell you, it'll be grand.
I don't know. I complain about our lines a lot. Mostly like it's not like warranted, to be honest, because
And I'm sure it still
like they're
stinks.
pretty normal. It does
Keep in mind
suck.
though, my campus does have like pretty much 25 times the amount of kids that you do. But
Yeah, no, it's
it's
like
also a
not
lot
close.
bigger. So
Yeah.
how's your
The
food?
trade-offs. Um it depends. So we've done like as so me and a couple of friends, we've done like a on-campus eatery tier list before. So we
Mhm.
are pretty there's like a general consensus of like what's good and what's not.
Yeah.
It's not really up to interpretation per se. Um there are some places that are consistent and there are some places that are not consistent in the quality of the food. So there's one place on campus that I would say is like either D tier food or like A tier food and no in between. And then there are places that are consistently B tier. So it's like,
Yeah.
how do you rank that? How like
Yeah,
which?
do you want to risk it and get some A tier food and potentially get some D tier food, or do you want to
Yeah.
settle for some mid B food that you know is going to be mid?
Or we just have basically a rip-off Chipotle. That's the best place on campus because it's literally just Chipotle under a different name.
Yep.
So that's most of my dinners.
We have that. I don't know if you know what Cane's is, like Raising Cane's.
Raisin Canes, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I know.
I didn't know what that was until like a year before I moved down here, and that's because there are like literally none by me, and I had
Yeah.
never been. But then I went to one, and then like a year later, I came down. So now I know what it is. But
I don't know if I've ever been to a Raisin Canes in my entire life, but
pretty
yeah.
good actually. I was very
Okay.
surprised. But we have like we have the Mirror Lake Eatery on campus, and it's just Raising Cane's. It's just it's
It's
the same thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yep. The fries are better. The chicken is worse. But that's
But
okay.
yeah, I was gonna say, people who know me know I love Waffle House. Waffle House is awesome. There's no Waffle Houses near me. Like the closest one is like basically back home, essentially.
I feel
Uh,
bad because there's just one like right there. And
Yeah,
I've never been.
I love Waffle House so much. There's a Denny's near us though, and I mean Denny's is like close enough. I went there this past weekend, and The thing about Denny's and Waffle House and like that kind of classic Americana diner food is it's just correct. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
You go and you take a bite of like whatever you ordered and you're like, that's just right. That's just how it should be done.
Sure.
You ever take a slice of pizza, you bite into it, and you're like, that's pizza.
And
And
pretty
it's
much
not
every
like
time I eat pizza, yeah.
no. It's like it's not the best piece of pizza you've ever had.
Oh, you
It's-
mean like
it's
those
certainly not the
CDs that
worst
say
pizza
like
pizza.
that's what I call music. It's like now that's what I call pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you
right.
take a bite of pizza and you're like, that's pizza.
Yeah, no, I know. what
Like
you
that's just how it's done. You did it right.
mean. Yep.
There's always something to criticize. It could always be better, obviously, right? But it's like that was just right. That just hit the right spot in your stomach. It fills you up. It's this warm, loving embrace of a past America that we all want to return.
Do we?
I mean, you know what I'm trying to say, though.
Just the food, though.
Just kind of the hospitality aspect necessarily.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know.
It's a warm,
I've
loving embrace.
I've also never been to Denny's. I've also never been to Waffle House. So I
Fucked
guess
up. Have you been to Bob Evans?
No.
What the fuck? That's like our thing.
What do you mean our thing?
Like
Whose thing
Ohio.
is
It's
that?
an Ohio thing.
Okay.
Have you been to Skyline?
No.
That's an Ohio thing. Everyone
That
who's
is a
from Ohio
Cincinnati
has a
thing.
Skyline order. No, I don't care. Everyone who's been to Ohio has a Skyline order.
Everyone who's been to Ohio?
Yes.
Zach is living in Ohio right now, and I guarantee you he's never been to Skyline.
Yeah, it's fucked up is what it is.
No, it's not, dude.
I love
Skyline is-
Skyline so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Skyline Chili.
Yes, Skyline Chili is amazing. Anyone who's ever in Cincinnati, you have to stop by Skyline Chili. That shit is amazing. Get yourself a four-way or a four-way with diced onions or like a cheese coney. That shit is amazing.
What's a four-way?
A four-way is pasta, chili, cheese, and it's just a lot of it. And then
That's
you
like
can put
3 things.
and then you can put like a bunch of other shit in it.
Why is it called the four-way?
I don't know. I think it gets more in depth than that, but
See, so I'm sure it's fine.
I love Skyline.
I'm sure it's, in fact, you know what? I'm sure it's probably maybe even good. However, the concept of just like chili and pasta to me, for some reason, it just doesn't sit right. Like
It's
I just
so
don't.
good. No,
I
it's
feel
amazing.
like it's just not.
If we're in Cincinnati, we're going to Skyline.
All right, man. Fine.
I was gonna pass by and grab
And you know,
food at
we'll do a
Skyline.
podcast Skyline Chili.
Yeah, actually, I would do this. If we go to like we do a little road trip down to Cincinnati.
You want to do a road trip in the middle of the winter in Ohio?
To Cincinnati so we can eat
Right.
at Skyline. It's you know, look, 4 hours there. We have lunch 4 hours back.
That's a good idea.
Sorry. 4 hours there. We have lunch. We do the podcast 4 hours back.
6 hours back. Why don't we do the podcast while we drive?
No, that's ridiculous.
That's like 8 hours of content right there.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Road trip podcast.
Road trip. Yeah, this is a thing that
Guys,
already exists.
we just saw a corn. And then we do that like
the entire
every
time.
minute for like the whole trip.
Yeah.
However,
look, that's the billboard that says gay or marriage is one man and one
No.
woman.
Holy matrimony is one man and one woman. Am I right, guys? Or am I right?
Yeah.
I hate that billboard.
That billboard's awesome. And I love how
No,
everyone
no.
knows what it is, too.
The best billboard around in all of Ohio is the one that just says "Hell is real."
Yeah,
and hell
that
is
one
in
is
like the
great.
flaming text, and then it's just like it's like hell, and then it's just like is real.
Yeah.
I think Ohio is so funny.
All right. Let's end the episode.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day.